Hey, you guys, you're going to want to listen all the way through this episode. There is conversation about a show that is ending after 14 seasons that one of us loves a lot and one of us has never seen.
Ooh, the suspense.
Oh.
We also have a mailbag question from one of our awesome 90s Now listeners. The question is, which sitcom from the 90s would Sharon and I like to have a walk-on role on? So you're going to find out the answer coming up in just a bit. Enjoy the show, everyone.
Well, hey. Coming off of Thanksgiving weekend in Canada. So, hey, get it like, hey.
Yeah. We
But,
both ate too many desserts, maybe.
oh, yeah, I'm full, man. Things could be worse
Yeah.
than being full of dessert. But there's that feeling of, I can't breathe.
I try to stop in advance of that feeling.
Yeah, I do too. But then the food expands in your belly.
Yeah. It's funny because I often tell my better half, like, she often powers down stuff, and then I'm like, but it's gonna hit in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it's hitting.
Yeah.
I should have rethought that strategy.
It's balancing out the enjoyment of the moment versus the big picture of sitting with your pants open with guests.
Yeah.
Because that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. My dad, not that he wears these because he wouldn't, but I think he read an article once about like calling it wearing like stretchy pants. So it's like your buffet pants.
Hmm.
You can just stretch it out and not
Yeah,
be naked because you need to open your pants up because they're already stretchy.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of going on a stretch, we
Yeah.
have a few shows under our unlocked belt without our little Adam, and continued thanks to him for putting the magic touches on the episodes every week while he brings home the bacon for the family.
Yeah.
Not us,
Yeah.
just him. uh, so we'll soldier through another episode of 90s Now, knowing that one brat packer from the 80s had some stuff to deal with in the 90s and how he can slap some now on that and feel sort of okay with what he's done. We've got the queen of Halloween taking off her crown. Talk about that. Kelly's trivia will pump your brain and blow your mind at the same time.
There's that.
There's that. While your 90s rewind will, you know what? We're going to lock a good old fashioned earworm in and take us back to 1997. You know what, Kel? If we're going to the small screen, which we will, it is the end of an era, the closing of a chapter, the last branch of a family tree of blue bloods.
Yeah.
So let's start there. The final 8 episodes of season 14 of a show I have never watched.
You've never watched it one time?
Imagine 14 seasons. I see the previews for it. I see the first few minutes because maybe I've recorded something that preceded it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that looks like a good show. And then I don't watch it. And 14 years later, Tom Selleck and his mustache are saying goodbye.
Yeah. I'm actually very sad. I was a long time, like, this is a show that I PVR
Oh, yeah?
every week. So I never get to watch it when it's on. And sometimes I'm several weeks, if not 2 months behind, but
Yeah.
I will catch up. I often try to catch up when I'm actually working out.
Hmm.
Like that's a time I'll do it. Or if I'm sick. If I'm sick, that's a show I will binge watch because it's like it's just comfort food with my little Tom Selleck and my Donnie Wahlberg. And so it's great. But I'm glad we brought this up. I wanted to mention it because I'm very sad for the cast and crew. I know they're already done. They finished filming everything back in June, I think it was. But they were very sad to end the show. This is one of the, I think, the few shows, and I'm sure maybe you can attest to this also, Sharon, where
Mhm.
I believe every single member of that cast did not want the show to stop.
Really?
Everybody wanted to keep going. They lobbied the network to keep it on. And it was still performing highly. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was doing very well in the ratings. And they still chose to say sayonara. And I don't know, like my question is like, I don't know what the answer is because I wasn't privy to these conversations, but like if they decided to let it go, then why didn't they let it go to Paramount at least to be on a streamer?
Right.
Or because that's their streaming service, or let it go to see if like NBC or ABC would pick it up. you know, because the cast wanted to keep going. So I really didn't like how that ended, knowing that, like, it sounds like literally the whole cast and crew wanted to keep going.
Well, it's interesting why I think the competitive arena that is, recorded programming, television shows, streaming. Why would you take off something that is seemingly successful
Yeah.
in favor of what?
I think they're trying out a new show, which
Okay,
is
well,
risky, right?
I wonder. I, I think maybe it comes down to like any other business, um, dollar signs.
I'm sure that that plays a part, but I do know, I believe it was either last season or maybe this season that they're currently in. I believe the cast did take a pay cut
Wow.
to keep the show on the air.
Yeah.
I think if anyone who's listening right now and or watching us or you know, if they feel the need, they could Google that, and they would see that there was a cast, I believe, like agreement to take a pay cut.
Wow.
Everybody. So it's just sad. And like knowing how much Donnie Wahlberg loves his show, Tom Selleck loves their show. And I think
Hmm.
at a time, I think, you know, it's similar to for me how I feel about My Young and the Restless, where
Hmm.
it's or soaps in general, where it's something that's been constant for decades. And like, for example, on Young and the Restless, as you know, Sharon, I'm a huge fan. Three of my favorite actors just celebrated in 2024 their 30th anniversary of being on the show. And they're in their like late 40s, early 50s, all of them. They all started when they were like 20 or whatever it was, you know. And
Hmm.
so I've grown up with them, and it's comfort food for me to know these actors are still on that show, you know.
Yeah, for
And I
sure.
feel that way about Blue Bloods. Like it's something that, and they've even mentioned how like so many of their cast and crew, their kids have grown up, like they've seen them
Yeah.
grow up off screen and help put them through college or what have you, because it's been this family environment. So I think for anyone who's had a long running show, you get really invested in the characters and the actors, and it's sad to see it go, especially when they don't want to go.
Right. Wow. So, I guess similarly, if they can keep Grey's Anatomy on,
Hmm.
why not keep this on?
Well, especially, and that's where it's very confusing. And I know it's a different network.
Sure,
It's
but
Grey's Anatomy, but it can be done. And you know, even if we look at NBC, you know, Mariska Hargitay and SVU, Law and Order, has been on, is this their 23rd or 24th season they've kicked off?
yeah.
If Adam was here, he'd tell us. But it's been on, I think it's either 23 or 24 seasons that it's on now. And again, that's even though it's harsh top, it's more, see, with Blue Bloods, like you don't ever really see anything too crazy, you know, like they don't go bananas in seeing, they're not gory like Criminal Minds would occasionally be when you see stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I love that show so much. But I think that's another reason why Blue Bloods is palatable, because it really is just like this show about a family that happens to be cops,
Right.
you know?
Yep.
And so I think that's, you know, going for it. But yeah, like, you know, Law and Order SVU has been on forever. They continue to go on, and seeing them again, that's comfort food for me, knowing like the world may be crazy, but my SVU will still be on.
Well, yeah, that's been on since 1999
Yep.
because I have Google also.
Good job,
I
Sharon.
know I pay extra for it, but I have it. Grey's Anatomy at 21 seasons. I
Yep.
just think for, like I said, circling back to the idea that it's such a competitive milieu,
Mhm.
how people are watching things, that the stalwart old school television networks that have these anchoring successful shows, why would you give that up?
Yep.
And now that you've confirmed that they took pay cuts, it can't be a like a dollar sign or a bottom line kind of thing. They're committed to the storytelling. They've got known actors, committed characters, and they're still giving it up. I think it may be typical also when you think of other businesses, when it's on the inside that someone's trying to prove themselves. Maybe it's that,
That's
you
what
know, like,
I did read an article, I believe it was in Deadline or Variety, this was months ago, where that seemed to intone that the powers that be were trying to prove
yeah,
something or do something or shake stuff up, you know?
yeah. We've seen that in our business too.
Mhm.
on this side of like not serial programming, but people come in, and it doesn't even have to be radio or television, or it could be the bank, it could be the post office, or maybe not something government run, but you know what I'm saying? Like someone comes in and they have to sort of set the tone and show how, what they can do or what they bring to the table, which is too bad because you can bring something new and exciting to the table that's already set
Mhm.
and find your way to elevate that.
Sometimes people just want to be the new sheriff in town,
They
Sharon.
do.
Yeah.
Pistol guns a blazing,
Yeah.
Cal.
Pew, pew.
Well, the final run of Blue Bloods is on now, so enjoy it and follow Donnie Wahlberg because he'll be giving you some insight on social media and
He's such a joy.
try to make you cry.
He's such a joy. Hopefully we'll get him on the show once. I think he'd be a really fun interview for us.
I think you're right,
Yeah.
and we'd probably get a bonus Jenny McCarthy sitting on his lap. So
Yeah.
we have two for the price of one.
We'll take it.
Ahead of that, Kel, we won't hold our breath, but we shall focus on trivia.
Perfect.
Ciao. Bing bong.
Adam's so good at knowing when to put this in with or without my time codes.
Yeah.
Oh. So we will go with actually, Sharon, you get to choose news and politics or hobbies, toys, and games. Which one do you want to start with?
I'm going to pick news and politics.
I figured as much. All right. Which international economic body commenced in 1995, replacing the GATT, G-A-T-T? So it's replacing that.
What does the GATT stand for?
No clue, but it's economic, so it must have been financial.
What replaced it?
Yeah, which international economic body commenced in 1995, replacing the GATT?
Oh,
When I
I
say
don't know.
it, you'll know it.
Why don't you give me a hint then? Who doesn't love a good hint?
Well, it starts with the word the, and then the second word is world. The world.
I don't know.
Do I tell you?
Give me the second word. Third word.
Trade. The World
World
Trade.
Trade Organization?
Yes.
Wow.
Good job, Sharon.
That wasn't a thing before 1995?
Certainly not. Well, I guess whatever the GATT was, maybe that was the global something.
Attributable tax
Yeah.
terminology. No,
Maybe
probably not.
as I read you the second question, you could Google what the GATT.
Oh, sure. Let me multitask. I can't think of right answers, but I can do that. Go ahead, dear.
So do I read you the hobbies, toys, and games one?
Yes, I can focus.
Okay.
Who said that? Anyways, go on.
Here we go. In 1996, this is a fun one. In 1996, which Sesame Street character became first in a line of Tickle Me toys?
Elmo.
Yay! Good job, Sharon.
Yeah. And let me throw a general agreement on tariffs and trade at you. Like that.
So what's the second T for? General agreement on tariffs and trades. Okay, got
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Tariffs and trade singular.
Oh, trade. Oh, perfect.
You trade once and that's it.
Got it. That's enough. That's more than enough.
Don't get greedy.
So you're 1 for 2, Sharon. Good job.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Right now, we'll talk about one of the Brat Packers. I think it's interesting that. Did you watch that documentary on the Brat Packers?
I did not, but I told you we got rid of most of our streamers. Did I tell you that?
Oh.
Yeah. Did we have that discussion?
We have not, but we can save it for another show.
And save it for another show. I will tell you, it's been freeing
I'm sure.
Yep.
In the bank book and your time card, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to say, I'm very proud of my better half because she was very much into several of them.
Yeah.
And she was the one that actually suggested that we turf them. And
Okay.
so, although one will be coming back in November because I must watch Yellowstone. So Paramount will be coming back. But yeah, like we're down. We do have Prime because that's part of our membership thing.
Yep.
And we have Crave because of our work situation.
Right.
Yeah, which we
Cool.
very much enjoy. But yeah, everything else went to the Anyways,
Sorry.
back to you, Sharon.
Okay, so we're talking about Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe, when you think of his list of accomplishments and successes, he had some struggles, and part of them was dealing with his fame, coming to terms with that. And he basically is saying that he came to terms with those struggles by overcoming his issues with alcohol. So recovery made things clear for him. I love that he said, I was intuitive enough in those days to sense the disconnect between me, who I was, the work I was doing that was out there in the public, and making this phenomenon, this hysteria happen. Which I think you kind of have to do if you have to find that balance of detachment, healthy detachment, so that you can have a life separate from all the hysteria, as he describes it, so that you can be a bit normal. But if you lose that, if you disconnect too much, then the balance is off, and something gets fed more than something else, and that's what happened. And he talks about, I like how he talked about also, he says, look at Taylor Swift, and he recognizes what she's got as far as hysteria, but he says he recognized it as something that he had, except on a gazillion steroids.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting that this guy on this side of things, as a 60-year-old man who has survived the 80s, the 90s, a whole new century, is in a position to look back and go, okay, well, he's got kids, he's been sober for 34 years, and he seems to be, has a stronger grip on things, and good for him, because he's got like I said, it seems that there was a good string of shows that it was like, okay, well, let's get Rob Lowe in here because he'll fix it, which is amazing. And now what's the name of that talk show that he does? Do you ever watch that?
He does a talk show? I didn't know that.
Sorry, not talk show, game show.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Oh yeah, it's
he's on a game show?
He's on a game show.
I know he's on the what is it, 911 Austin or Saint, what is it, whatever, that Lone Star.
Yep.
And this is I think this is their last season. I think this is season 6, and I think this is it for them.
Huh.
Which is great. The other one keeps going, the original 911, like Los Angeles or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
What's her face is in it. I freaking love her. And why am I Angela Bassett?
Oh yes, she's when they use her for like the still shots, she's intense.
I love her and Alfre Woodard so much. Actually, Alfre just celebrated their 40th or 50th wedding anniversary. Was it 40th, I think, with her husband. And they showed a flashback picture of her and her hubby from like 1981 or whatever. The style was so amazing. Just so good.
Are we talking about not Alfre Woodard, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Alfre Woodard.
Who's her husband? Because I'm thinking now of Courtney B. Vance is married to.
Oh yeah, to Angela.
Yes.
Yeah, he's some guy. I don't know if he's in I guess he's in the entertainment industry, but he's like I've never seen him before. He's this like white dude, and I've never seen him before.
And I haven't seen Alfre Woodard in what seems to be a very long time. So
she's
nice,
she's
nice
so,
name drop.
Yeah, when she does like a face too, like when she's like acting, she's like, it's like next level amazing.
Yeah, they've got it.
Angela Bassett. They should have a show. They should have a show where they play detectives or something crazy. Like that would be amazeballs.
I found the show that Rob Lowe is the host of. It's called The Floor.
Oh.
And I've watched a couple of episodes of it. So you're supposed to answer questions, and then lights on the floor or squares on the floor disappear. So you have to position yourself in a way to not get, stuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it seems obviously successful, and I wonder if it's the Rob Lowe factor that keeps it successful. But
he's such a cutie.
So on to the Queen of Halloween. Of course, we know that's Jamie Lee Curtis, who is fun to follow on social media, by the way. She's got an ongoing countdown of the American election, how many days till the election happens.
Great.
But she no longer feels the pressure to show up for Halloween. And by show up, I mean decorate her house, go all out. Yeah. Obviously her association with Halloween goes back, 46 years. To all the Halloween movies. She was a screamer.
That's a fact.
She was an originator, but she now no longer feels any pressure to go all out. She's retired her pumpkins, she said, and she's hung up the butcher knives, and she stepped away from the series and the movie and everything like that. And she said, of course, her kids are 37 and 28, so they have zero interest in, their mother decorating the house. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're grown up, so they don't care. But she's at the same time, she was interviewed prior to that and talked about how stepping away from this franchise, this entity, this long-lasting thing
Mm.
with the same people was something that she found sad at the same time.
It is sad. When it's sad. I know you're supposed to look at things as like, a new chapter's beginning, but it takes you a minute, right? To say like this is the end of this.
Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
That's deep, Sharon.
That's closing time from Semisonic.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
wow,
we
that's
look the
something.
lyrics.
Yeah.
That's hot.
So happy Halloween with or without Jamie Lee Curtis. How about that?
That's great.
Like I said, though, if you want her, she's online.
Yeah,
She's funny.
it's fun. Yeah.
And of course, she plays an excellent role on Donna is her character's name on The Bear.
Oh, she's on that? I didn't want. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she won either one or two Emmys for that. I know she won the first season,
Oh
and
wow.
I'm not sure if she won the second season, but she's very good.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to say, but almost too good. Like unsettling good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
You know
So
who's
you're happy
always
for her.
You know who's always good too in that like I don't know if it's like if it's a decade difference in their ages or whatever, but Lily Tomlin is also
Ooh.
always amazing.
She's Lily Tomlin has to be
She must be
80.
what, 80 something? Yeah.
Yeah, easily. Jamie Lee Curtis is not
No, she must
there.
be 70 whatever.
I need to verify.
Yeah.
This is
Whilst you're
pressure.
doing that, I'll just do a quick mention. I did an interview. So this is a please heads up to everybody who is listening and or watching right now. I just interviewed for my other show, Kelly Alexander Show, which you can find on this channel if you're watching YouTube and on Apple and Spotify if you're listening to this. Her name is Hayla. She is a British vocalist,
Hmm.
and she's actually, you would know her, Sharon, because we play a song on our station KX5 Escape. So like for sure you've heard it.
Okay.
She is ridiculously talented as a vocalist, and she
Okay.
does a lot of EDM stuff. She just did stuff with Kygo and with John Summit, and she has a new album dropping on the 1st of November called Dusk. They let me have an advance listen to it. It's very good. So if you like strong vocalist and dance music, please go check her out. I can't even, and it was funny, she was so humble because British people like don't like to have put on airs or anything.
Yeah.
It's like, you're very good. She's like, oh, I don't know about that. I was like, no, I'm like, you're the real deal. And I said, it's a real like treat to have you on the show. And she's literally blowing up. Like about 3 or 4 weeks ago, she had about 77,000 people following her on Instagram, and she's up into like the high 80s. Like
Oh, nice.
everybody's starting to follow her. And she has a new song out as well. A collaboration with a guy called Medusa. It's called Another World, and just insanity. If you need good
Cool.
workout music with a strong vocalist that is not phoning it in, this is your girl.
How do you spell Hayla?
Hayla.
Okay.
And what's funny, you're gonna love this because you will love this. I said to her, I'm like, where did Hayla come from? Because I'm like, your real name is Haley Williams. And she's like, well, I can't be Haley Williams, Paramore and all.
All right. Good
I was
one.
like, good for you. So she's Hayla.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Circling back to Jamie Lee Curtis and
Yeah.
Lily Tomlin.
Yep. Bring it back.
Lily Tomlin just turned 85 at the
Is
beginning
did she?
at the beginning of September, and
Crazy.
Jamie Lee Curtis is 65.
Oh, wow. Okay. So she's not in her 70s. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Your age. So I was off by a decade. There's a 2-decade separation.
She'll be 66 in November.
Perfecto.
I know. I
She's a
appreciate Adam's. When you're trying to close a screen on your iPad and it scrolls up and you're like, I don't want to scroll up. I just want to flip it off. Anyways, I'm fine.
Angry. Back to you, Shane.
Wanted to mention the Elton John documentary and tie it into your 90s Rewind because he's got a few things going on.
Yeah.
Like a companion book, a 256-page coffee table book called Farewell Yellow Brick Road, Memories of My Life on Tour. Then the documentary called Never Too Late, which looks back on his career with an emphasis on the tour that just wrapped up his career. So the Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour, which got its premiere at the BFI London Film Festival just about a week ago. It'll hit theaters on November 15th, rather, and then it will land on Disney Plus on December 13th. It's kind of cool.
Bananas.
That's how you never have to miss someone who did his farewell tour for longer than 3 years because of the pandemic. You have a documentary that takes you right back to the stadiums and the arenas that he rocked. So cool. Where does he place in our 90s Rewind? Let me tell you this, Kel. Top of the charts around this time in 1997 was Something About the Way You Look Tonight.
Such a great song.
Something about the way. Yeah, love it. Love it. How about Leanne Rimes? How do I live? She never even answered the question, but it was a great song. My favorite, one of my top 3 favorites from Mariah Carey, Honey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that the Butterfly album?
That sounds correct, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Quit Playing Games with My Heart is one of those song titles from the Backstreet Boys that as you say it, you're almost singing it as the song sounds, right? Yeah. And the earworm that I promised is this. Do, 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 do. Semi-Charmed Life, Third Eye Blind, rounding out your 90s Rewind with a handful of songs that taking us back to 1997.
1997, a banner year.
Oh, yeah.
My Velvet Rope came out then. By the way, we got a lot of response to our mention last week of Janet's Velvet Rope 27th anniversary. Nice. The Janet fandom, known as Jan Fam, we're very thrilled to have the mention out. So I just want to thank everybody who sent us a note and who loves 90s now and who loves the Janet with the Velvet Rope. And it was funny because somebody actually wrote me a note too and said, Kelly often talks about Velvet Rope. That must be her favorite Janet Jackson album / project. And so it's funny because it's hard to pinpoint. I do really
it's funny because I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it so much. No, I adore it. But I don't know that I could pick. I mean, I guess on some level, I don't think I could pick a Janet album because I love them all. Like they're all amazing. So
and you know what? You don't have to pick a favorite.
No.
You can love them all the same.
Yeah. We do have an audience question before we leave. Is that good, Sharon?
Ooh, bring it on.
Okay, so Brittany has messaged in and she wants to know what 90s sitcom would you have liked to have made a guest star appearance, whether like a full guest star or just like a walk-on role in the back?
Probably Friends.
Yeah, okay, solid.
Yeah,
because
they're my age, so I could have been a friend.
It's you are.
And that said, I wonder, Kelly, was the Golden Girls in the 90s?
They finished in 92.
So is that your pick?
I'll go with that. That's solid. Yeah. I also would have loved to shared a scene with Jack and Karen on Will and Grace.
Oh, another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two, just lightning in a bottle, man. Yeah.
Totally. And you could tell that they were, it seemed like they were workshopping it as they were going. Like pushing it a little bit further until it got like, there were a few like, what just happened episodes, where they had whatever their exchange was really edgy.
Yeah. And whenever and I know RIP to Leslie Jordan, because when he would join, just
oh my gosh, he was good.
You can't breathe, you're laughing so hard. It's amazing. So yeah, that's good choices, Sharon. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for the question. If you have anything at any time, you can ask us through any mode of communique.
Yep.
We'll open the mailbag for you especially.
Yep.
Thanks everybody. And thanks again to Adam for working his magic on the other side of things. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for finding us wherever it is that you do that and for following along. We appreciate that you listen to 90s Now. still happening.